What is a national crime? 7 national crimes. This is written by a guy who was an American religious leader and influential public speaker. He was born in Hamburg, Germany, ordained a Presbyterian minister right after his arrival in the United States as a young adult.
Does it involve producing a movie called The Lone Ranger? Is that the national crime of which we're speaking now?
No, but that does seem to maybe fit.
That was close to a national crime.
I didn't see that one. See, I was like, what I like to say, smarter than that.
Yes, you were.
How did you get into? Why did you go?
Well, because the previews looked pretty good, but the reality, not so much. So
Stu has always wanted to be the guy who makes the previews for movies.
Yeah, that's my longtime dream is movie trailers.
Yeah.
I want to make movie trailers. I get out of this crap hole. That's what I'm doing. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's you've gotten yourself to the movie studios.
Yeah.
Now we just have to make a movie, and then you can help make the movie trailer.
I would love that.
No, it'd be great, but it would be really hard because you would feel guilty. I think if you made the Lone Ranger trailer, would you feel a little bit guilty?
Yeah, you'd feel responsible for the 7 people who went and wasted their money on it.
Yeah.
So
I just love that magic, though, because I can watch a movie trailer and I'm like, this looks like the greatest movie of all time. And then you go see the movie and it's so bad.
Yeah.
And you realize what art that must be to turn that piece of junk into something that people like.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
All right. So 7 national crimes. One of them is not making the movie or the trailer for the Lone Ranger. But this is an old list. This guy is the guy who wrote something that is often attributed to Abraham Lincoln, but was not. You cannot bring about prosperity by discouraging thrift. Are we doing that?
Yes.
You cannot help some men by tearing down big men.
Oh my gosh, every day.
You cannot strengthen the weak by weakening the strong.
All day, every day.
You cannot lift the wage earner by pulling down the wage payer. You cannot help the poor man by destroying the rich. You cannot keep out of trouble by spending more than your income. You cannot further the brotherhood of man by inciting class hatred. Now, this guy was a guy who believed in. He's a very complex guy, so and I'm not an expert on him by any stretch of the imagination. So, if anybody is an expert on William John Henry Boetticher, I apologize. But from what I can gather in about 10 minutes of looking into him, is he was a very complex man, stood up for Germany, saying, at the very beginning at least, saying, Hitler is making things better. So he was not necessarily on the money. But some of the things that he has said are absolutely true. And you could read that, and many people do believe that came from Abraham Lincoln because they have attributed it incorrectly to him. And that sounds like something Abraham Lincoln would say. But he also talked about 7 national crimes. And then I believe as a former German citizen, he went out and he committed those crimes. But here are the 7 national crimes, and see if we are committing any of these crimes. Now, the reason why he's saying that there are crimes is because, and it happens almost in every generation, we sit here and we are silent on things. We are silent on rounding up the Indians, rounding up the Germans, rounding up the Japanese. That video that I played about an hour ago, the audio from Miami-Dade, is that shocking?
Never heard anything like it before.
Right. Nobody said anything about it. Nobody did anything. How many people sat silently as they watched people be classified by race? You can't use that door. You have to use that door. Crimes like these happen every single generation. Let me just give you the 7 national crimes and see if you are part of committing any of these. He says the 7 national crimes are: I don't think. I don't know. I don't care. I'm too busy. I just think we should just leave well enough alone. I have no time to read and find out. I am not interested. Those are our 7 national crimes. And every country and every group of people commit them until things become so horrific that there's no way around the crime. What they lead to eventually causes everybody to say, okay, wait a minute, I do care. Wait a minute. But then, in the case of, let's say, Germany, and I contend it will be the same with China, I contend it's the same in the United States because not enough of us have done our own history. We don't know really what we did, the bad things. It's easy to point to Germany and say, look what happened. I have a very, very rare magazine that was printed in German for the Germans by the Americans when we first went to, I think may have been Dachau, I'm not sure, one of the concentration camps, and we printed a magazine showing exactly what was behind those gates, what was behind those fences. And then we went and we gave that magazine to everybody in town and said, this is what you've done. The reason why it's rare is because most people took it and just threw it in the fire. They did not want to see it. I don't know. I don't care. It's just best leave well enough alone. How many of us are doing that right now? How many of us are doing that with the GOP? How many of us, this poll with 54% approval rating for Chris Christie that is unchanged? The scandal happens and it's unchanged? What, are you dead inside? What, do you not care? Do you not know? Are you too busy to find out what it is? Do you want to just leave well enough alone? Leave well enough alone. He's getting things done. We are committing these 7 national crimes, and they will end exactly the same way it does in every generation, unless we say, I do think, I do know, I do care. There's nothing more important to do with my time. I will not leave well enough alone. I will find the time to read and find out this answer. And unfortunately, I may not be interested because I'm tired, but because I am in the family of man, I must be interested. I must make the plight of all man's freedom my plight.